Good evening. The Who's today in Sydney, of course, were out at Hawkesbury. What do they call it? A standalone meeting um, at the Clarendon course, Hawkesbury, and it was there was a good crowd, plenty of people having bets, and it wasn't a bad meeting. The rail was in the normal position. The track was good. It was on the firmish side, the track, with a lot of kickback, more or less, a lot of kickback, and I suppose, well, there were a couple of runners. Cool Claim came from fairly well back in the field, and the first winner came from midfield, but most of the other winners were up near the lead, and you could be on the fence. You could be on the fence. And or you could be off the fence. So there was more or less no bias. If there was any bias, it was maybe up near the lead was a bit of an advantage. The first race, well, they said there was 105 on the screen. There was a neat 100 in the betting ring. We never got below 100 today, which is a record for a Saturday in Sydney. But there was only the 100 in the first race by the same token, and the winner was Petrify. It got out in the market from $7 out to $8.50, and as I say, it sat midfield and was able to come down the outside. A Colette on the second horse. It was more or less inside, a little bit in front of it, on the fence, got a lovely split, but Petrify, ridden by A. Gibbons, who got a little suspension over his ride, causing a little bit of interference to Lara time. It got the bobbin on the line. There was only 0.1 of a length between first and second when it hit the line, and the leader ran third, which was Lyric, and that was about all you'd say. There were no hard luck stories in the race. The favourite, Chia Caruso, it copped a little bit of a check at the start. It did make up plenty of ground. It came from third last down the outside. It was only beaten about 1.5 lengths, making up plenty of ground, as I say. And it was very well backed, much as $3.70 given about, opened up 5-2, into $3.30, back out to $3.70, but back in to start at 2-1, extremely well backed. And most of the other runners did get out of the market. Race 2, they said there was 106.3 on the screen. There was 3 less, 103 in the marketplace. The favourite straight away, you could get, we'll start at $2.50 on my board, if not $2.60 on my board. So it was a bit less than the 103. It was able to lead with Huey Bowman, horseman Huey Bowman aboard, and it led. He controlled the race up front, letting Divine Calling, ridden by Bold Blake Shin on his outside, sit there, and he had a little bit too much up his sleeve, and he beat the horse sat on his outside, Divine Calling, by a length. Pax Media, it missed a kick, and it wouldn't have mattered if it didn't. It would have come out with them. Got beat a long way, 7.5 lengths. Running third in this, it ran fourth. Running fourth in this race. Third was Chosen Idol. As much as $7 given about it, only started 6. So the figures weren't that good, but and the favourite got the cash. At one stage they killed you for the 6-4, but as I say, at the finish it got back out to $2.30. Race 3, 107.1 on the screen, a few less in the marketplace, maybe 104, but positive figures. And this race was won by a well-backed roughie, Honourable Aussie, had barrier 2 and sat directly behind the leader on the fence. Leading in this race was Saint Labomba, who is going for a spell after today. The jockey saying that he thought that it had come to the end of its preparation, and the trainer agreed it's going for a holiday, and maybe the firm going didn't agree with Saint Labomba, but it led, and getting inside it after they turned for home was Honourable Aussie, who had barrier 2, ridden by Bold Blake Shin, and it was able to stroll away with this race and win by 2.3 lengths. And I tell you what, it wasn't. They didn't forget to back it. It only started $15, and there was $26 given about this runner, so it was 25s into 14s. Very well backed, Honourable Aussie. So if you're a captain, you run into the late at the top odds, you could easily have lost on the race. Now, who started favourite in this race? It was who started favourite here? Oh yes, of course, it was Dynamic Honour, ridden by horseman Bowman, Huey Bowman. He came across and sat outside the leader, and he wasn't quite happy with its action in the run, and he proved to be right, because after the vet ran his hand over it, they found it to be lame, Dynamic Honour, so that can be the excuse for its fairly ordinary run. But the winner got a soft run right behind the leader on the fence, and well backed, and got the cash. Race 4, they said there was 110.4 on the screen. There was about 5 less in the marketplace, only about 105, but good positive figures. And this race was won by, I suppose, the best backed runner in the race by a long way. Like a fool, I gave as much as $5.50 about this winner, Pure Claim, and it only started $4. It was 9-2 into threes, extremely well backed. Opened up $5, gave $5.50, and then it was backed all the way in, very solidly back into $4. It sat back in about third last position, Pure Claim, or fourth last position, same thing, and made up plenty of ground going in between runners turning for home. And again, he was just got the bob in, coming more or less off his back. Was the second horse, Lystrata, who would have been a big result for the captains. It was $26 out to $51, and just my own eye looking at it on the screen, I thought, because of the now we have the lengthened straight, the straight is longer now at Hawkesbury, and the camera angle, we're not used to it at the moment. I think the camera is before the winning post, and that's what most probably got me. I thought that maybe the outside horse had bobbed, the caller called it right, and he's in a much better position. And but I think a stride before the post, the 50-1 chance was in front, and another stride past the post it was, but on the line, that's where it counts, and the winner got the bob in, and it was a very bad result for the captains. Above all, who went up the 7-2 favourite, $4.40. It got out to $4.60, but it was into $4.20, clear favourite at one stage. But then after the heavy backing for Pure Claim, who started favourite at $4, above all got back out to $4.60. And it did run third, and it was held up slightly, but it wouldn't have won. It had more or less had its chance, as did most of the other runners in this race. They all more or less had their chance. First and second were possibly the best runs. Race 5, a little bit skinny here, 101.8 on the screen only, and only just a little bit less, maybe the 1 or 2 less in the marketplace, around about the neat 100. And this was won by Aerobatics, a result for the captains. It got a good run. It sat in 4th position, 1 out, 1 back. It was $16 out to $26, and leading on the fence was the very well backed Arctic Flight, who was $21 into 16 or 15, as I say, extremely well backed, and it was able to ease off heels turning for home. Sitting outside the leader was Holy Moly. The winner got around it and was able to beat the leader, Arctic Flight, on the line. Now, who started favourite in this race? It was Dystopia. We put them up 9-4, Miss Stellabelle. Now, it was very, very easy in the betting. It was $3.20 out to as much as $4.60. And if the betting would have gone much further, I dare say it would have got out to as much as $5, but it was 9-4 to 7-2. Whereas Dystopia, it was $4.20 into $3.40 at one stage. I was $3.50 when they jumped, and it was a bit disappointing. the rider saying that the Fern track and even the 1300 might have been a bit too far for it. It more or less had every possible chance. It copped a little bit of a check in the run, Miss Delabelle, and did make up plenty of ground. And Pipette, who had a soft run behind the leaders on the fence, it was held up going and raced in restricted room, trying to get in between the leaders. But the winner, I suppose, it wasn't a bad win, and run the race over again, and you'd possibly get a few different results. Race 6, 106.5 in the screen, and a good 5 less in the marketplace, only about 101. And this winner led all of the way, Moro. It was ridden by Schofield, trained by Father Schofield, that is, and it was trained by Tony McAvoy, who, of course, is now got the complex over the back, which was owned by Paternack Farm. McAvoy's training out of there now. I suppose he'll do very well in Sydney. And it had barrier 1, and it led, and even though it got off in the track, off the fence when they turned for home, and finished about 4 to 5 horses off the fence, it was too strong for Beaten Up, who had a soft run back 3rd or 4th on the fence, getting right along the fence all the way, but not able to catch the leader, failing by 0.1 of a length. Speediness, who was very, very easy in the betting, it finished up running 3rd, came from 3rd last. It was beaten easily 2.6 lengths. It was very easy in the betting, as I say. It went from $5.50 out to $11, a 9 to 2 chance out to $10 speediness, and ran accordingly. The runners that were backed in this race, well, Monton, who had every possible chance, it was 9 to 2 into $5.50 into $4.60 at one stage, but got back out to $5.50, then started 5. And there was money for Beaten Up, also Merlin Mustang, Keith's Legacy, starting favourite. We put it up at $3.50 chance, a 5 to 2 the field, and got out to plenty of $4.20, but it is extremely well backed and only started $3.20. Oh no, no more for the favourite, please, I can't go on. So I'm doing the review, so is that the mother of the year? Is that the mother of the, is that the mother? I'm trying to tell everybody now, I'm one of the proudest men in Sydney at the moment, because I'm talking to my eldest daughter, and she's just had another little baby, and her name is, what is it? Emily Clare. Emily Clare, little Emily Clare Slow, and she is an absolute stunner. And I am the luckiest man in the world. And she's married, of course, to Nathan Snow, who is father of the year. Anyway, I can hear that little Bubbaloonie crying now, Sal. I'll talk to you after, all right? Bye. So I'm sorry for that. We'll go back to this race at Hawkesbury, and as I say, Muro, who led, it got out from $6 out, but always back by the same token. It was a $7 chance, always firm in the betting, but got out to as much as $8 in the last, say, 3 or 4 minutes of betting, starting that price. Keith's Legacy was very well backed, starting the favourite, as I say, as much as $4.20 given, and it only started $3.20. It sat midfield on the fence, ran along the fence in the 4th hole, but was a bit disappointing. The winner fought on very well. There were some runners in that race that got out in the market, and I won't drive you mad by giving you the flux. Now, race 7, there was 110.3 on the screen, but a good 6 less in the marketplace. And when they went across the line, there was only 0.8 of a length between the first 5 runners. Limes, the winner, it sat in 5th place. It did get a charm and was given a beautiful ride by Christian Reith, and cunning Christian Reith, that is. And he was able to win by about sort of ahead when they got down to the line, coming from well back in the field from second last position right down the outside, which was, I suppose, not a bad run, because it was a bit hard to make up ground from so far back. Was Bobbin, and it was extremely well backed. It was $6.50 into $5 Bobbin. And third in the race was Asher Khan, who set up right near the lead all the way. It would have been a great result for the captains. It would have went from 15 out to 21. Platinum Kingdom, who was easy in the betting, went from about a $7.50 chance out to $10. It was only a neck beaten 0.4 of a length. And the runner that led on the fence, Complicate, who was the Avery, $5, 5 to 2 he put it up, a $3.50 chance into $3.20 at one stage, got back out to $3.30 towards the end of betting. It led, came across and led, found the bunny. It did fight on well, but I suppose if you were on it, you were fairly disappointed with it. It ran fifth, beaten only 0.8 of a length, but the run that it had up near the lead, it was entitled to, I suppose, if you were on it and starting favourite, thinking it should have won. Run this race over again, and you would get a few different results by just looking. There was only 0.8 of a length between the first five. And then we came to the last, and there was a runner in this race that was maybe a bit unlucky, and that was the third horse, Territory, who came from well back in the field. It did have barrier 2, and it did run along the fence, saving ground admittedly, but got held up at a vital stage after they turned for home, ridden by Paddy Murphy, and it only got beat 0.3 of a length, leading in this race and going very fast in front. They ran the first 600 metres in 35 seconds. That was McClintock holding out Rigmarole. They really got along. Looking at the pair was Balvan, and this winner, the winner was Agista. Now, and it came, it got a little bit of a prat at the start, and it settled down in about in midfield, just past midfield, ridden by the horseman Huey Bowman, and it was able to ease off heels turning for home and get to the outside, and in front of him was the well-backed Babel, who was as much as $9 given about Babel. It only started $5.50, so it was 8 to 9 to 2. Bowman got to the outside a bit after they'd straightened, and he was able to nab him near the line. But as I say, after saving ground on the fence, but getting held up, and if he wouldn't have been held up turning for home Territory, or just after they straightened, and it had the clear passage, it would have gone through most probably and won this race. And I'd say run this race again, and you could get a few different results. It was trapped wide in the run Tom's Rocket, and it was a 60 to 1 chance. But the third horse, as I say, it was a little bit stiff. That was about the meeting. There was a good crowd there, and rode plenty of tickets, but unfortunately there wasn't a lot of section about. But that's the way the game is going at the moment, and we've just got to keep on trying. So if you did play today, I hope you had some luck. Speak to you next week. Good evening.